What's up guys, welcome to another electric skateboard video. It's been a while, it's been a hot minute since the last build video, or any electric skateboard video for that matter. I've been hard at work, actually working at M-Boards, building the brand, doing what I can to make the brand the best I can, but that's taking a lot of my time, so I haven't been making a lot of videos, but that's gonna change. A lot more stuff in the future. So if you're new around here, electric skateboard tutorials all the time. We'll be posting more, so you should subscribe. And yeah, let's jump right into this video. So I'm starting my last year of college in about a couple weeks. I wanted a new board. I wanted a board that was a little more compact, a little more portable, but larger than the penny board. Because the penny board was a little too small for me, but I wanted something portable so I could hold it a little bit better through the hallways and stuff, but still had the same power as like a regular electric skateboard would. So that's what we're gonna be building today. I try to make these tutorials as easy to follow as possible, so the parts I'm using is all this stuff right here in front of me. The deck I'm using is a 32-inch old school deck, a little shorter than a regular longboard, but a little longer than a regular skateboard. So a nice happy medium, old school, so it's a little wide, it has a little bit of a kicktail, really like it a lot. For the enclosure, I'm using a super slim 10S 3P enclosure. It has a perfect amount of room for the 10S 3P flat packs and a little bit of extra space for an ESC. As far as my motors go, I'm going with a dual belt motor kit along with a dual belt ESC, and connected to that will be a 10S 3P battery for good range and speed. And then you'll need your regular skateboard stuff like grip tape, riser pads, skate hardware, all the regular skateboard stuff. That's basically everything you need. If you want more specs on any of that stuff, I have links to all the products in the description below. So if you are curious on the numbers and this and that of everything, it's all in the description. So yeah. So I like to start out my builds by laying my deck face down and placing all the components on top of the deck just to be sure that it all will fit under there. Actually in this case, it's not all gonna fit right. So I'm actually gonna move my front truck up a little bit, drill new holes so that way I have plenty of room to fit my enclosure. Now if you use a longer deck or a smaller enclosure, you will be totally fine, you won't have to do this, but I really wanted this combination, so I'm willing to drill a few new holes to put the trucks up a little farther. So I lined up my trucks exactly where I wanted them, and then I just used a Sharpie and made a couple dots where I knew that I was gonna need to make holes, and I left those there for reference. But before I commit to the design and drill the holes, I do need to fix a few things. I plan on using 1-inch skate hardware to secure the enclosure to my deck. No need to get extra screws from anything else, just use regular skateboard hardware. It's got all the anti-vibration nuts on there, so it just makes sense to me. So that's what I always use. Anyway, I'm planning on using the 1-inch hardware, except the hardware is a little too thick for the existing holes in the enclosure. So I need to just take a drill, choose a drill bit, and drill out the holes to make them a little bit wider so I could fit the screws in there. And while I'm already working with the enclosure, I decided to drill out the holes needed for the motor wires, the power switch, and the charge port. First, I made a few marks with a silver Sharpie so I could see it on the black plastic. And then I started drilling holes small, kept the holes really small, and then gradually worked my way up using multiple drill bits so I don't actually crack the plastic. If you have really tough plastic, you might want to do that too, but if it's kind of more flexible, then you probably will be okay. But I always just start small and work my way up, that way you don't crack your expensive-ish enclosure. And before I get too far along in this build, I am gonna need to move my front truck up a little bit so I can kind of fit everything in between. So I used a riser pad just as a template to make sure all 4 holes line up exactly where I need it. And once I have my new holes drilled for the front trucks, I then take the enclosure and place it exactly where I want it to be once the build is done. So from there, I'll take clamps, clamp it down to the board so it doesn't move, and then start drilling through the existing holes through the deck to create the hole that goes straight through the enclosure through the deck. And along the way, I'll take my hardware that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna drop it into those holes. That way it prevents the enclosure from moving when I move the clamps up. If you have like 6, 7, or 8 clamps, it might be even better. I only had 2 with me, so then I just kept moving them, but I made sure I dropped extra hardware in the holes temporarily so it wouldn't shift. Any slight shift, some of the holes will be lined up and some won't, and it'll be like impossible to get the screws down in there, so yeah. And once I drilled all of the holes for the entire board, including the new truck holes and all the enclosure holes, I went through and I countersunk everything. That way when I put my hardware in, they'll be totally flush with the deck and we'll be able to hide it underneath grip tape without any bumps showing. So the next step is to decide how you want everything to fit in your enclosure. We already drilled the holes for the power switch and the charge port, so I went ahead and installed those using the washer it comes with. Next, I just slid the ESC right in, battery right on top, and then I connected the charge port to the battery and the power switch to the ESC, and then used the two XT60 connections and connected the battery to the ESC. So basically everything is connected except for the motor wires. Next, we'll just feed the motor wires in through the holes we've already created, connect that to the ESC, do that twice because there's two motors, and then you're basically done. Before you actually seal the enclosure down, you want to test it because you don't want to have to open the whole thing again. It's just a giant pain in the ass. So just turn your controller on, make sure it works, make sure the motors are spinning the same direction and not opposite ways, or else I guess I don't even know what would happen. Once you verify that the motors are doing what you want them to, you're basically good. Turn the power off, flip the enclosure the normal way, and line them up to the holes that you already drilled. Next, just put all your hardware in, tighten them down with the anti-vibration nuts. And at this point, you have a fully functioning electric skateboard. A super cool all black look, throw some grip tape on there and you're good to go. But I wanted to go like one step further. I wanted like a boosted board mini style. I thought that'd be kind of cool. I even drew out where I could cut the deck to kind of square off the front of it to get that boosted board mini look. But after I drew it and I looked at it, I figured I probably should quit while I was ahead because I didn't want to ruin a perfectly good deck. So I abandoned that idea real quick. But I did pick up some orangutan wheels. Those are like the staple boosted board wheels, so you kind of have to have those. I started to install them, but I did run into an issue. So the way that the black wheels connect to the motor is with a wheel pulley. The wheels that it comes with, they're ABEX style wheels, and the wheel pulley just slides right in. Super easy, very easy to change those out to any ABEX style wheels, except we're not using ABEX style wheels anymore. We're using the orangutan like Kegel style wheels, and that does not fit. So my first instinct was to just buy two orangutan style wheel pulleys and just put them in, but because the motor is a fixed motor, it doesn't slide. The wheel pulley has to be the exact correct diameter to fit, and I bought 3 different brands. They were all either too small or too large, so I had to use that plastic pulley that it came with. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of stuck. I thought about using regular orange wheels, but it wouldn't be the same. I really wanted the orangutan wheels. So I came up with an idea to just shave down the existing ABEX style spokes on that wheel pulley and then drill holes through that pulley and then use some regular skate hardware. I use 1.75 inch hardware to create new spokes and then to fasten it all together with the nuts they came with. And that actually worked. So I did that. Took about 5 minutes to make both of them with a Dremel tool. Anybody could do it. If you want to take the time to do it, you totally can. Or if you can find an actual pulley that works with this setup, even better. But I could not find one. I tried so many different ones, spent more money than I am willing to admit on other brands. But I finally made one for free, so there you go. Anyway, once we had those, we just put them on just like we took them off, and we're basically done. Then I took 2 different colors of grip tape, black and gray, and made that like gray line down the middle, and it turned out okay. So here it is, the final product. I think it turned out really cool. I love the brand new wheels. I love that I was able to get the orangutan wheels on there. It just has that look I was going for, super happy. If you wanted to go a step further, you could even like paint the rim of it black, which would even give it more of a boosted board mini look. And I'm super happy I built one. I will never buy an electric skateboard. I just really like the fact that I built it. If something goes wrong with it, I know how to fix it. I don't have to deal with anybody else. And it's the way I like to do it. But anyway, I haven't done a lot of testing yet because I just made it. But my experience with electric skateboards, I'm pretty good at knowing the specs of it just by looking at what it's made out of. So the range will be about 8 to 10 miles, probably more if you ride it real modestly. And the speed, 25 miles per hour. So that's plenty for me. And so let's go give this thing a test ride. Bam. Solid. Yeah, it feels good. Nice tight turns, nice tight turn radius because of the length of the board. Feels good. I like this a lot, and I'm only on the second mode. there's still 2 more higher modes in this. Solid. There are a couple of features I did want to talk about on this board. The charge port and the power switch, they're kind of in a little bit of an awkward position. They're kind of hidden in the back next to the motors, and that's kind of the way I wanted it. I wanted them out of the way and hidden. There's still enough room to get the charger in the charge port, so that's all that really matters. I gotta say, one thing I really like is that the low mode is actually really slow. So you can kind of just like floor it, and you're only going like maybe 7 or 8 miles an hour, so you can just like mindlessly ride. If you've never ridden one before, super nice. I only got up to like the 2nd mode on this board right now, and it seemed very fast. So yeah, but overall this board feels really good. Nice tight turns. I like the way it handles. Solid. I'm super happy with it. So that's the video, that's the build. It seemed pretty simple to me. It'd be even simpler if I didn't have to move the truck up or didn't have to make my own pulley, but you know, if you can avoid those 2 things, it'll be really good. If you have any questions about anything, drop them in the comments below. I try to answer every comment that I get. If you want to message me on Instagram, you should do that. Much better way to get in touch with me. You should also follow well, me on Instagram, but also mboards on Instagram, so you can see all the news and stuff like that. And that's it right there. All the links to everything's in the description, all that. Subscribe if you're new. I think that's all. I think that's the basic outro right there that usually everyone says. So, all right, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Thank you for the help, baby sister. Let's get these packages out, huh? Let's get them put in the mail. Hey, what are you doing? No, that's not how it's supposed to go. You helped me work today? You gonna put that? You gonna put that in the mailbox? Yeah.